Chelsea to axe 7 players to make room for Haaland. Juventus wants Celtic star. Bayern youngster gets bumper deal. Carabao Cup semi-finals are announced, and a transfer roundup all coming up on today's OneFootball Daily News. As I'm your host Angelina Kelly, let's get into it. First up, and Chelsea, because it's Chelsea, of course, are joining the race to sign Dortmund's Erling Haaland, because £120 million on Timo Werner and Kai Havertz and another £100 million on other players just was not enough. Now, obviously, Haaland has always been linked to a move to Real Madrid. However, it is rumoured that whilst he could be departing Dortmund in 2021, Kylian Mbappe could also be departing from PSG, which means that Real Madrid will probably go for Mbappe over Haaland. Dortmund will be asking for well in excess of over £100 million, and there is that rumoured release clause of about £68 million that apparently doesn't come into play until 2022. I mean, I don't really have to sit here and explain why everybody wants Haaland. He is a phenomenal player, and he's not even 21, so no wonder Chelsea have thrown their hat into the ring. As well as Haaland, they also want Declan Rice. So in order to get these 2 players, they are going to get rid of 7. So who are these 7 players? First up, we've got Antonio Rudiger. Makes sense, he's been linked with other clubs and he does want some game time before the Euros. Then we've got Marcos Alonso. He's only made about 3 appearances, so again, another one that makes complete sense. Then we've got Andreas Christensen. He did feature a lot more last season, but we've not really seen much of him. Then Ross Barkley. He's already on loan at Everton, so again, can see why he would be leaving. Then we've got Jorginho. Would be ashamed to see him go, but sacrifices have to be made for Haaland. And then finally, Danny Drinkwater and Victor Moses. No surprises there with those 2. Now, it makes total sense to axe these 7 players, and they've been needing a clear out for quite a while, so there's no major surprises, I'll be honest. But my issue with this is signing Haaland to Chelsea. They're already preparing for this in the summer. I think Lampard needs to be focusing on the likes of Timo Werner and Kai Havertz, who at times have really struggled in the Premier League, rather than focusing on the next big summer signing. It remains to be seen what will happen with this deal. I still feel like he could be moving to Real Madrid, but we will have to wait and see. Next up, and Juventus, they have added another striker to their wish list, and it's Celtic's Odsonne Edouard. Now, apart from Cristiano Ronaldo, the only forward that has really been adding to the goal tally has been Alvaro Morata, and it's going to be a really tough fight for Serie A, as Juventus currently are actually in 6th position, so no wonder they are looking to recruit some new players. Now, we have heard rumours of the likes of Arkadiusz Milik, Olivier Giroud. Both would make sense, both experienced players in European football, and they've got great quality, but now Edouard has also been added to the list. Last season, Celtic's Frenchman ended up with 28 goals in 47 appearances, and he's already got 9 goals under his belt this season. Now, the thing about getting a Celtic player is, although it's only the Scottish League, Celtic still really pretty much dominate it, apart from Rangers, so they would be getting a player that is used to winning ways. Fair enough, he's not really been competing that much in Europe. Obviously, they've not been playing in the Champions League, really, and they have been knocked out of the Europa League, but he could still be a really good asset, as he does have a really good eye for goal. And there's been quite a lot of interest around him, but Celtic have always managed to keep him put, so it will be very interesting to see if they are able to lure this Celtic man to Turin. Moving to Bayern Munich now, and their chairman has confirmed that their 17-year-old star Jamal Musiala will be handed a bumper deal in excess of £100,000 per week. For those who don't know, the 17-year-old was born in Stuttgart, but he made the move to Chelsea and he was in their youth team for quite some time, about 8 years, and then he departed and made the move to Bayern Munich back in July 2019. Whilst the amount of money does seem crazy for a 17-year-old, £100,000 per week, it is a little bit wild, but you can kind of say that he has earned it. I mean, he's already this season managed 10 appearances for Bayern Munich and he scored 3 goals. I mean, for a 17-year-old to get into this Bayern Munich side, a Champions League winning side that is arguably the greatest team in Europe at the moment, he's got into that team and he scored 3 goals. It is pretty special, and no wonder why they are handing him this deal. They will definitely want to cling on to him, and I'm hoping that we see more of him this season. And finally, the draw for the semi-final of the Carabao Cup has been announced. And for the semi-final, Spurs will be facing Brentford and Manchester United will face Manchester City. Another Manchester derby. Very exciting semi-final. Well, I hope it's going to be an exciting semi-final. Let's hope it is not as boring as that last derby. These games are going to be played on January 4th. And then, as we all know, as I mentioned earlier in the week, the final will not be until April at Wembley. And finally, we have our transfer roundup. This is where I take a look at some of the other news and transfers going on in the footballing world. And first up, Arsenal, it looks like they are going to try and sign Real Madrid forward Vinicius Jr. Speaking of Arsenal, their defender Mustafi is actually in talks with Barcelona about being signed on a free. Very bizarre one for me, I'll be honest. Manchester United are looking to extend Jesse Lingard's contract so he doesn't leave in 2021. Why, I do not know. And Napoli, finally they have won their appeal. So they were supposed to play Juventus back in October. They were sanctioned a 3-0 defeat and 1 point because they didn't show up to the game. This was because local authorities told them not to because of the coronavirus pandemic. It was a little bit harsh what happened, so I'm glad to see that they have won that appeal. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys later.